All right, perfect. Thank you. Welcome to July 7th, 2026 to the regular meeting of council. I can confirm we have quorum. I'm going to hand the chair off to Councillor Karshak. He's going to read the...
Or even Karashuk.
Karshak. What did I say?
Karshak.
Karshak, yeah.
Not Karsak, Karashuk. Anyway, the Mayor and Council wish to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of the Salt River First Nation, Tabathi Dennisuthlane Nation, and the Indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of their sacred lands throughout the generations. We honor your knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization has not been kind, and we respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Next item of business is to move on to the adoption of the agenda. There is going to be a few renumberings, reorderings of it, but I'll entertain a motion. Councillor Couvret.
I move that the agenda be adopted as amended.
Seconded. Councillor Cox. And if we could have someone go over the amendments, or would you like me to go over the amendments?
You got it,
I got it. Okay, so it's just renumbering a number of items. Item number 10, date of next councillor meeting, is now going to be item number 12. Exclusion of councillors is now going to be number 11. Question period is going to be number 13. Councillor roundtable is going to be number 10. There will be a new section 14 in camera and adjournment at 15. Would any councillors like me to repeat that? Okay, all in favor? Carried. I don't see any delegations, which was number 3, so we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the June 16th council meeting. Councillor Cox.
I'll move that the minutes from the regular meeting of council of June 16th, 2026 be approved.
And is there a seconder? Councillor Tucky. Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Business arising from the minutes. Councillor Couvret.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have several items, unfortunately, or fortunately, with regards to the minutes from June 16th meetings. The first one is dealing with the subject matter under the delegations. The first delegation was talking to us about power batteries and things, basically dealing with electrical distribution within our community. This has come up on multiple occasions, and I just wanted to bring it up again, is this council has requested briefing notes on the status of the franchise agreement, and I would like, we do need that briefing note to be able to determine what the status of our franchise agreement is for the distribution of power within our community and what available options may be available to us for addressing ongoing concerns that we have with our current distributor of electricity.
Does Councillor Couvret's memory stretch far back enough to know if that last request was prior to our current SAO?
At least 3 SAOs have been.
Okay, so perhaps our current SAO now can be directed to prepare that briefing note for the next meeting.
Yeah, or in the near future,
Yeah.
like I don't. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
if I can continue.
SAO?
Mr. Chairman, just not sure of how you've done that in the past, but if you are directing staff to prepare a briefing note, you should have it definitively as the will of council.
As a motion.
And by motion. So, because at some point you may discuss whether that is the best usage of resources. I'm not commenting on this one, so I don't know anything about this request, so.
Councillor Quebec, would you care to make a motion towards that?
Sure. I move that administration be directed to prepare a briefing note on the status of the franchise agreement with the NT Power Corporation, and to provide that to mayor and council at its earliest convenience.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Tucky, any discussion on that motion? Deputy Mayor.
Did you just want the status, or did you want options? You have a very specific request right now.
At this point, just, is there a franchise agreement, I guess? would be-
Okay, so you just status is fine, because you could ask for more in that briefing, you know, like status and options, or just status, so I just want to be clear.
Mayor Ferguson?
Oh, thank you. So, I think you know our franchise agreement is expired and has expired for a while.
Years
Is
ago.
that why you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so we know that it's expired, so we already
Well,
know the
we're
answer to that
assuming that-
question.
yeah.
No, we do know that, that it's expired. So are you asking them to verify that, or are you asking for what should we do with our next steps? Should we pursue a franchise agreement or put it out to tender? Like, what's your outcome? What are you looking for?
Options.
Councillor Quebec?
I will amend the motion to, for the addition of recommended next steps to be included.
Councillor Tucky, are you okay with that amendment?
I am.
Any further discussion? Councillor Cox?
I'm not sure to what end, like, figuring out if there's a franchise agreement or not. I mean, we know that they're in the middle of doing huge infrastructure upgrades. Actually, I think there was a public meeting on it tonight. And I don't, franchise agreement or not, I mean, yeah, we have to update some administration stuff, but I don't see an end goal of finding a replacement or anything, so I'm not sure that I see what can be gained from it.
Any further comments? Mayor Ferguson?
Thanks. Yeah, so this is really important for stuff like this, so that we're not just bringing stuff up on the fly without information, without a briefing note, without prior information, to email this in prior in advance so that we can give staff and administration an opportunity to go, okay, yeah, franchise is in here, and like get details, get information, find facts, rather than just throwing it out of here out of, because we just decided today we want to know this. We should give administration and staff the chance to be able to find the information we can have, so we could then have more of an informed conversation about it. So maybe that's what we want to do, right?
Councillor Quebec?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. The intent I brought it up was that we need the briefing note. It's been asked for many times in different forms. I believe if we go digging back far enough, there's probably even a unfulfilled motion requesting a briefing note on this, because I know I've brought it up many occasions that as part of the committee on the intervention committee for Power Corp. The intent was to ask administration if they could prepare a briefing note. I wasn't intending for this to be an in-depth discussion on the matter. It was to say, this came up at the last meeting as part of the issue of our power generation within the community, power supply and things like that. Franchising agreement is a fairly critical part of that supply and demand regime. And just to get a briefing note to say, what is the current status of it? What are our options? I don't intend to have a full discussion at it during this this debate that it's really turned into for some reason. So.
Okay, any further comments? Mayor Ferguson?
Thank you. Yeah, no, just that, I think it's a stretch from what you're asking from the minutes. So the minutes, we had a delegation come talk to us about batteries. And they were talking about batteries, not NTPC as a power source generation or a franchise agreement. So I think the minutes that's a stretch to get to where you want it to be, because what they delegated and we're talking about isn't what the delegation came to speak to us for. It was about batteries.
Councillor Corbett.
Then somebody should have just immediately called this as a point of order. Before the motion or anything, that should have been decided that this was outside the realm and somebody should have called a point of order on me.
Okay, is anyone going to call a point of order, or shall we put the motion to the vote?
I think,
Mayor
Yeah.
Ferguson.
yeah, for sure, this is a point of order, because it is a definite stretch of what the delegation was about to what we're asking for now. Although I think that it is valid what you're talking about, it isn't with what respect to what we were presented on.
Do point of orders need a seconder? I know.
They don't, they immediately.
They come to the chair for a
Come to the
ruling.
chair.
I rule that the point of order is valid because I do agree that it is a stretch, but I would strongly suggest, Councillor, that you request to have that put on the appropriate meeting's agenda or for further discussion, because it is a valid point.
Yep.
Okay, you had other points from business arising?
I'm on a roll today.
You are, that's okay.
The second one is under, as part of the June 16th minutes, under item 7, which was administration. The first one is, I'm going to do it in reverse order. So under the municipal services, item B, and this has been on page 10 of 15, they were discussion about the sidewalk replacement tender and the prices and things for this. I just wanted to point out that I was dealing with a similar situation about 18 months ago when the museum was looking at the need to replace the sidewalks outside the museum, and the prices were coming in $30,000 to $40,000. They ended up going with a chip seal option, which was, I believe, $10,000 to $15,000, and it's showing that it can stand up to the test of time, as does the chip seal project that they did many years ago on the Thabatcha Trail. So I'm just proposing that maybe we move away from concrete sidewalks, which was invented years and years and years ago when concrete was super cheap. Now it's current prices is over $500 a yard now. 20 years ago it was 100. So I just wanted to bring it out as a potential option for addressing our sidewalks things. Maybe we look at a chip seal option rather than, or some other material other than really expensive concrete. Okay, and then the next item I wanted to bring up was in relation under community services, around page 7 of that director's report. There was discussion about parks, with Buffalo National Parks programming in our community. I recall sometime, I think it was early May, the interim superintendent or acting superintendent for Wood Buffalo National Park came and spoke to the mayor and council. During that meeting, mayor and council was quite expressive in our opinion that we feel Wood Buffalo has sort of stumbled in their communication with the community, and part of that was talking about the assessment of an assessment crew coming in to talk about what trails are going to be refurbished, things like that. The issue that the visitor center had been closed all winter with no notice to the town of Fort Smith, which is supposed to be a partner in the operation of the visitor center. We were talking about the impacts that workforce adjustments were having on our community and things like this. Looking at some of the postings on Facebook, the assessment teams is either here or coming in the next few days. There doesn't seem to be any attempt or outreach to the general public to talk to the community about what trails might be important to the community and things like that. So I'm just really under the impression that our conversations with the representative at the time fell on deaf ears. And I would like to, and I'll put a suggestion that maybe our mayor might want to contact the Leadership Council and bring up this whole issue of wood buffalo, seriously addressing the concerns that wood buffalo seriously takes into consideration our concerns with the direction that management seems to be moving with respect to Wood Buffalo National Park and its benefits to our community.
Suggestions are not binding, so is Councillor prepared to put forward a motion directing the mayor to raise this issue with the TLC? No, well, I'll get you. Are you prepared to put forward a motion like that?
Are we going to go through the same debate?
Well, we might.
Okay, I will move that our mayor contact the Leadership Council in regards to writing the appropriate, I would go the acting CEO of Parks Canada for calling for an immediate discussion regarding the impacts Wood Buffalo National Park management is having on our community economically and program-wise.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Bay? Now it's discussion. Mayor Ferguson.
I was just gonna say, I have no problem writing that letter. That's a, that's a really
Oh,
easy
yeah.
ask. And I'm just going actually over my notes, it was April 15th that we met with that field unit superintendent, and they had given us lots of hope about things that were gonna go on here, and as I look at my notes, I'm like, doesn't sound like a whole, it didn't come true, a lot of talk, no action, so I have no problem writing that letter.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Next item.
That's it.
Oh, you made it sound like there was a plethora. Any further items under business arising? Seeing none, I don't see any declarations of financial interest, so we'll move on to Protective Services report. And I will have the SAO introduced because I've forgotten the name.
Mr. Chairman, Council, this evening the acting Protective Services Director is the Deputy Fire Chief, Spencer Porter, and trial by fire. So we'll go right into it to present the summary of the report and ask that if you have specific questions about the report, rather than going through item by item, we go that route. So, Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Council. So a high-level overview of my report. Fort Smith Fire and EMS responded to 23 calls this month, slightly under the 5-year average. 19 of those were EMS and 4 of those calls were fire-related. Fire and EMS training activities, we are continuing to train towards building and maintaining our ability to respond to both structural calls and EMS calls. A general update, we had a spring 2026 recruitment drive that led to 7 successful applicants, and we are excited to welcome new people to the department. There was, at the time of the writing of this report, a fire restriction in place. It was since upgraded to a fire ban. That will be reduced to a fire restriction tomorrow when the regional fire ban lapses at midnight. Last Sunday, we deployed 3 firefighters to Fort Simpson to assist in the wildland urban interface operations that were taking place. They have been highly successful thus far. They've been working in some pretty challenging conditions. There was a single structure loss, but that is a major victory based on the pretty incredible fire behavior that they were seeing over there. So we continue to support them, and we really applaud that they're making our community look good. And this is also building our ability to respond to these types of events in the territories, as this WUI initiative is in its infancy. So this is a really valuable deployment, and it's going to bring a lot of valuable experience back to the community. On June 29th, Wrigley was evacuated shortly after Fort Simpson was, and we were identified as their evacuation center. At the time of writing this report, there were 59 affected individuals who were evacuated here at Fort Smith. we set up an evacuation center to house them. Currently, there is nobody staying in that evacuation center, and since our numbers have climbed to, I believe, 75?
89.
89. So we're housing 89 total evacuees, and I believe 14 of those are from Fort Simpson.
29 are from
29.
Fort
There we
Simpson
go.
and 60 are from Wrigley.
My numbers are a little off here, but
Would you care to give the report?
I just updated you, I just sent it to them.
Lands development summary. So throughout June, Lands was primarily focused on continuing to process development permit applications and business license applications. Reviews were completed to ensure proposed developments and business complied with the town's applicable bylaws and regulatory measurements while providing guidance to applicants throughout the approval process. We also attended territorial court to address ongoing bylaw enforcement matters. This included preparing court documents, organizing evidence, and managing the required legal fillings to support the town's enforcement actions. In addition, administration of the Housing Accelerator Fund program remained ongoing. Applications were reviewed and processed to support eligible housing initiatives and support the program continued to progress in accordance with its objectives. So lands activity, we had 4 zoning bylaw enforced, 0 public engagements, 6 business licensing reviews, and 1 housing accelerator fund actioned. So bylaw is looking a little low this month for enforcement, but our bylaw officer was away on leave for a week. And then when he got back, he was immediately deployed to Fort Simpson. So expect next month's report to be a little heavier than this month's report, just because this is missing some documentation. So if it looks like the numbers are low, which they are, it's just not a total reflection of last month. And next month's will look pretty heavy in comparison. So in that case, there was 3 animal control bylaw enforcements, 2 traffic control bylaw enforcements, and that is it.
Full report?
For bylaws, but I can still keep going here if you'd like me to.
Yes.
So we are keeping an eye on the wildfire situation. There's currently 3 parks fires burning outside of 50 kilometers of Fort Smith, but there's 3 in the park, well, multiple in the park, but 3 that we have our eyes on. One potentially has the possibility of impacting the highway, but I've been in close communication with Parks IMT, and they've been relaying any pertinent information regarding that wildfire to me, and we have no concerns about it affecting the community at this time. As for occupational health and safety, the Town Occupational Health and Safety Program online app continues to be updated, allowing employees to access the most current safety information from any job on any site at any time. And there is a breakdown there as well of some OHS information. I'm going to go through capital projects.
If you'd like to highlight any big ones, but the report is all there. Sorry, Council, the project list is all there. If there are any specific questions about any items there, that might be a better way to go through it, rather than go through it all in detail. I'd also like to add at this point, it was already touched on about the hosting of the evacuees, but just do a kudos to both Spencer for stepping in, for Lauren as the Community Services Director for stepping forward and getting that under control and managed. For a number of councillors who volunteered as well, I think that's a message to the community as well. Just that it's been a uniquely smooth evacuation hosting process to date. I don't want to jinx it, but uniquely smooth. So kudos to the crew that's doing that.
Absolutely.
Is there any questions for the acting Director of Protective Services? Mayor Ferguson.
No, not a question, but I just wanted to mirror what you guys are saying, that being part of evacuations and this process, your team did an amazing job. People were settled, they were calm, they felt reassured. The staff and folks that were doing that did a really great job. We had the best hosts who knew everybody and were really good for greeting them, and it just reassured everyone as they arrived, and then got them squared away, that you guys did a fabulous job. And it's reflected in, with the folks that are here, is all the things that they're saying, very positive about Fort Smith and how welcoming everybody has been. So it's fantastic to everyone.
Councillor Bay.
Yeah, I also wanted to add kudos to the structure protection team in Simpson. I know where they're setting up, particularly in the Wild Rose area of Simpson. There's friends that have a number of houses in there, and it's very densely wooded. And I imagine it's quite hard to protect those places. So the fact that the fire has burned through there and only one house is lost, I think that's a testament to the work that that team put in, as well as the other groups that have joined them. Yeah, kudos to that.
Any further questions? I have a couple. Just curious, who determines that Fort Smith is going to act as the evacuation center? Is that like a Yellowknife call, or like who actually says, okay, go here instead of Hay River or there?
We originally received a call from MACA when they were doing they investigate, they identified that from Wrigley there would be under 100 people. If it was over 100 people, then we wouldn't have capacity here to take on the entire group. They were identified to go to Yellowknife where they have capacity. Wrigley made sense for here, but in the meantime, there's a mix. I'm assuming because as people were coming out, some people probably had connections, there were options. So it's not the most perfectly controlled process, but that was one of the initial reasons why they reached out to us. We reached out to staff to identify, do we have the capacity, is this something we can do? And then it rolled from there. Do you guys have anything to add?
So MACA makes the designation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my other one was, I see some of the speed limit signs are changing in town. Has there been a PR blitz about the new town limit of 40 kilometers an hour?
I'm gonna reach back to one of our PR people, Danielle, who's behind me. I'm not sure, Danielle, did you hear that question?
Yes, Rubina did make a social post about that.
So we are getting the messaging out. We have had some inquiries coming back as signs have gone up, as we try to answer the question. So yes.
Thank you. Mayor Ferguson.
Just to add on that, so that came from our transportation master plan. It wasn't just an arbitrary number that the folks had picked up. It was identified clearly through that process that the speed limits throughout the community should be reduced to that amount, just because of the safety risks of our neighborhoods without sidewalks and the pedestrians and foot traffic. Like, it was just identified that it should be good to be the whole community. Highways and faster weights are different, or school zones are different, but it was identified in Martha's.
I understand the rationale behind
okay.
it. I was just wondering, even though the master plan was done a while ago, it is a change, and so there should be a PR blitz with regards to the change. So thank you for answering that question. Anything further for our acting Director of Protective Services? Seeing none, thank you very much for coming and speaking to us tonight. And I see a motion there for us to accept it, but I don't think we accept director's reports.
It's just for information.
Oh, I think you have to stay here for the briefing note on the
You're sticking for the
what is it, business license.
Okay, we're gonna move right into the briefing note.
Just wait, we have to read it as a motion first.
Okay, so can I get a motion
You bet.
for DPA 03626?
Yeah, I'll move that DPA -036-26 submitted by Rebecca and Joshua Gauthier in lot 160, plan 10, civic address 22, Camsell Road be approved.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Tucky. Now we can have a discussion.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to turn this over to Spencer again. Spencer, I might put you on the spot on this one. Do you have a comment on it?
No, nothing in particular.
So if there are questions on this one, we will try to address them.
Any comments or questions from councillors? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Now you're excused. Thank you. Corporate services report.
Thanks, Spencer.
Thank you.
Get some sleep, get some rest. Yeah.
Promises.
oddly to note when we're going through different payroll classifications, I happened to touch on Spencer's today, and he had multiple notes for where this OT should be classified or this OT should be classified to different roles and different functions. This one's to MACA, this one's to this service. So, to your point.
Yeah, go to
yeah,
sleep.
Go to sleep.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Chairman, as for the presentation or report from the Director of Corporate Services acting, myself, you'll note that I'm keeping these fairly brief. It's primarily we are getting on top of the operational day-to-day functions within the finance and the administration offices. A lot of it is focused on human resources. We are still in the process of recruiting a new Director of Corporate Services. Human Resources Manager, we changed a staff person who was on term over to the HR role, Isha. So she has taken on the Human Resources Manager function as of a week ago. So that is a long-term investment for the corporation, which I think will work out. And under payroll clerk, we then have to bring in somebody as a term role for that because she was filling a term role. So there's a bit of juggling going on, and we are recruiting a new receptionist as well. And then the executive assistant / executive secretary role. As you're aware, there was a creation or a reenactment of the executive assistant role with some fairly different focus for the half function of communications. We are going through a review of that process because of the classifications of the two roles. There is some confusion in there that will get sorted out. But we're working on that while Ravina's away to make sure that when she comes back, we can have those questions and then sort it out. Not sure if that makes sense to you, but suffice to say, there's a fair amount of focus on these areas right now to get our office functioning, to get our financial processes up to date. That leads into the question about the audited statements. It came to our attention when we were doing some interviews for the Director of Corporate Services that our approved audited statements are not posted online yet. The reason for that is because they still have a couple of steps to go through before they are finalized. You've approved the drafts here at the council chamber. They then have to go back to MACA. MACA has to approve them based on fourth quarter reports on our capital funding. That is not complete yet. It still has some steps to go through. So we're following up on those steps to get that approval, get the final statements done, get them posted. So, the last comment is about efficiencies. Given the changes we are addressing on the staffing, the good thing about being new coming into an organization is it is the ideal time to try to identify where we might do things a little more efficiently and where we are doing things maybe excessively or keeping in mind always with the risk of why we do the things we do. Usually it's for covering risk. I'm talking about steps in our bureaucratic process. So the report's very short. If there are any questions, I'm happy to address them.
We'll split it up and we'll save the questions about the account list for a minute or two. But are there any questions about this portion of the report? Seeing none, the accounts list is also provided. Are there any questions with regards to that? And then I think the last thing is the briefing note with regards to the raw water intake and lift station. Just a reminder that in-camera was moved to number 14 on the agenda. So if I would get someone to introduce that motion, we can have a discussion.
I think usually,
Go
isn't
ahead.
it just presented, just like the director's report, the corporate services, is for information, we don't really have to approve it.
No, but I'm going on to the briefing note for the raw water intake.
moving along, because we don't need to.
If we move
Oh,
right
yeah.
along, if we move right along, and if you're not doing motion to accept for information only, then we're on to the briefing note. And I suggest we go in camera prior to dealing with that motion.
The in-camera motion was agended, to item number 14.
Yes.
So
So I would suggest,
to change it now will require a 2/3 majority of the members to move the agenda or change the agenda at this point.
Sorry, didn't we move the in-camera to 14?
Yes,
Okay,
but
So
from what
what
it
we
sounds
ask-
like, he wants to do it now.
yeah, it would be,
no, we're gonna save it to the end so that we can finish the complete meeting on camera so everyone can watch it, and then we'll do in-camera at the very end.
understand, what I'm suggesting is the motion regarding the raw water intake is
As information.
related to the in-camera. The in-camera discussion should happen prior to you making that motion.
Okay,
Okay, I will ask for a 2/3 majority to move the in-camera session now. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have 2/3. Okay, I will entertain a motion to go in camera. Councillor Cox.
I move the council of, the council of the town of Fort Smith move in camera regarding contract negotiations.
Seconder. Deputy Mayor.
If we go in camera now, this ends the feed and we can't finish, no one's gonna see the rest of our meeting.
There's nothing else in.
Okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, you can do it? Okay, never mind, okay, thank you.
We have the technology.
Did I get a nod from behind?
Carried, we're in camera, so if you could turn us offline.
we'll give you a thumbs up.
He's got a finger up. Wrong finger. Daniel. So now we'll move on to the motion. Councillor Cox.
I'll move that the council of the town of Fort Smith approve additional design and project management funding of $63,703.
Should this say for ACOM, or is that
No,
understood?
I purposely pulled the name out of it.
Okay, is there a seconder? Councillor Corbett. Any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, I'm losing track here.
Sorry, so that was,
That's okay.
now we mixed it up.
Yeah, we did, but
Okay.
I'll go through it. We're on to section 8, council business.
Okay.
I don't think we have any bylaws before us, and no appointments, and no board representatives. So we'll skip over 8, we don't have any proclamations, 9. So now we're on to councillor roundtable, and I will start with councillor Bate.
Yeah, thank you. So, as you heard, we, in the discussions with, we have visitors from Wrigley. That's kind of the primary thing that I've been doing outside of my usual council business. And I just really think we should recognize that Fort Smith kind of stepped up, and whether it's members of council or staff, you know, there, of course, there's people who are struggling during their time here, but there's also people who, even in such a hard time, are thriving in their experience with Fort Smith. I heard from past evacuees who came from Fort Simpson during the flooding, and you know, it was a very hard decision for them to come back here because it was such a challenge in their previous experience. And now in kind of seeing how things have gone this time, it's like for them, they said it's night and day. And I think that really reflects on the efforts that staff have done to ensure that you know, there's a welcoming place for the people here. And I think that again, that reflects really well on the town. So thank you to everybody who's involved in that.
Thank you, councillor Bate. Deputy Mayor.
Just two things I think right now. I did go to that FCM meeting and came back and did a lengthy report. I don't know that it has been shared with anybody.
No, not yet, but I will.
I did send it to the mayor and the SAO for review before I put you guys all through the review. It's quite a long report. So that is coming soon to an email near you. And it's all digital. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also jump on the Wrigley Simpson evacuation bandwagon. I was working with Adam and Dana and the staff, and very impressed to see everybody turn out and do such a great job. Just a sidebar, because I'm on the LGAN committee that's looking at the legislation, some of the interesting things that we were hitting in the administration has already been fed up to the committee. I was sitting there doing it and saying, this is an interesting observation for our next meeting. So we're already taking stuff from this and putting it towards the discussions around the new legislation. That's pretty fast turnaround, I figure. So that's my two things.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson.
For sure. So since our last meeting was almost 3 weeks ago, I think it was June 16th, we welcomed a new chief, Karen Youngman, to Thabadea-Denasutane Nation, and I just wanted to mention that because I don't think we've got to say that at this table yet. We did a really good community hosting of National Indigenous Peoples Day. I think that was a really great come together for everyone. There was really great food, and I really loved how everyone did those interactive tents everywhere. I've never had I seen a beaver being skinned before, right? And so Mary Schaefer did a really good job there. And on June 25th, leadership met with Minister Altley. She had come down to the leadership, meaning the TLC. We came together at a round table with her. We had talked for well over an hour, talked about issues for Fort Smith, funding, particularly about funding about Brennett Hall, about tearing down the last residential school in the Northwest Territories that happens to sit in Fort Smith, and a collaborative partnership with the college and Indigenous groups to get rid of that last standing residential school and creation of new college housing there. So I think she took that idea, and hopefully we'll see something from that. We talked about the road south to Garden River or such, however that goes through. Touched on the college and infrastructure transfer of federal buildings to us. July 26th, we again met with the public administrator for NWT, or the Health and Social Services. So the public administrator came down, and it was a really great conversation. I really liked hearing what he had to say with respect to giving the control back to regional control. Is my impression of that public administrator. He is gone on December of 2026, so he only has a little bit left in his term, and he had stated to us in that room that his recommendations to the government of the Northwest Territory is turning back power over to the regional control of their wellness boards. So meaning that our regional board would have more control over what happens in our community, so medical travel or services or things like that. He expressed to us in that room that that's his recommendations when his term is over, December 2026, that is what he's going to leave behind. So I was very hopeful from that conversation, and our regional board is looking for members. So if you want to be part of that, put your name out there, sign up. I know that regionally, local, they're looking for members for the Regional Wellness Board. We've all touched on it. We're hosting evacuees here in Fort Smith, and I just want to say the community of Fort Smith has done a phenomenal job for any request that went out. Your generosity has been very welcomed. I see the evacuees every single day, talk to every single one, and I just can't tell you how thankful and grateful every single person is that's here to be able to sleep in a bed and not in an arena, to sleep, to have clothes available, food available. They just to be away from home under these circumstances. Fort Smith has done an exceptional job of welcoming them in. So I'm really proud of you, Fort Smith. Thank you for being my community. That's it. Order. Oh, Canada. That'll be
Your turn. Councilor Tucky.
Thank you. I just want to touch on what the mayor just stated about the National Indigenous Days. The event went extremely well this year, and as those did July 1st. In terms of hosting the evacuees, I hear that things have gone very well there too. And unfortunately, I'd just like to give my condolences for those who were lost in Fort Simpson a couple of weeks ago. They're very dedicated people, and it's a tragic loss. I'd also like to pass my condolences on to the passing of Pi Kennedy and Yogi, as we all know, who was very well known throughout Canada and the northern states for his expertise in firefighting. And we've lost two very honorable Fort Smith citizens in the last couple of weeks. And my condolences go to the family. Thank you.
Councilor Cox.
Thanks. I think people have said lots about stuff on my list, but yeah, again, condolences for the air incident there. As somebody who's flown hundreds, if not thousands of hours for work, it's close to home. Canada Day, I usually end up missing activities here, but here, the one or two times I turned my back to the barbecue, it looked like it was pretty busy there. So apologies for the state of the barbecue when we left, but had a bit of a grease fire there. But yeah, it seemed like it was really well attended, well enjoyed, and certainly seemed like a lot of people got fed. Hopefully all the corn found a home, so. That's it, thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think previous councillors have covered a lot of the ground that I would cover. One of the things, just a little bit further on my discussions with regards to Parks Canada, and I'll add the college in on this conversation as well. Those are two potential jewels in our economic viability of our community. And I know I hear through people saying, oh, Fort Smith is always whining about the state of the park, the state of the college. It's not whining. It's the community putting forward a statement saying, basically, these are two jewels of our economic viability. And we look at the state of government of how they're being managed. And with both of those institutions, we've seen a continual erosion of management decisions away from our community to places like Yellowknife, Ottawa, and other places that have no concept of what those assets, the park, the college, really mean to our economic and the well-being of our community as a whole. So for those people that are saying Fort Smith is always whining about the state of the college or that Wood Buffalo isn't being managed, well, yes, we're whining because it is our livelihood. The future of this community depends on the viability of those assets. And damn it all, we're going to stand up and fight for them the best that we can. And if that means we're going to be continually in people's faces about it, good on the leadership for taking those stances.
Thank you. Councillor Benoit.
Thank you. I just want to say congratulations to all the council and the mayor for the job well done on July 1st. And yeah, I missed it because I had another something come up anyways, but it'll be another time. And the job well done with the evacuees. Haven't heard anything, wrong like we have in the past, like people being drunk or whatever. Nothing like that. It's all positive, which is good. And condolences to the loss of the people that we lost in Fort Smith, including a well-known musician in the past, Bimbo, Alan Daniels. Yeah, he'll be missed. And yeah, also to the people who lost their loved ones on that plane crash.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to thank the staff for all their efforts during Canada Day, but I would like to, I'd like to throw it out there, how can council encourage more float participation in the parade? It seems to be dwindling a little bit, so if we put our thinking caps on, maybe we can come up with some creative ways to encourage some participation there, but the actual food stand and the organization at Conybeare Park was very well done, so kudos to the staff. I'm going to disagree with the mayor. My faith in the Regional Wellness Council is not the same rosy picture that she has. In fact, my term expired and I flatly refused to extend it because, in my opinion, as an advisory board, we're just a box for Yellowknife to check off. Yes, we have a committee. Yes, they're advisory. I asked flat out of the PA and the CEO, will we ever get any powers back? No. The governance structure is not going to change. You'll remain an advisory board. So I let my term lapse. I'm not going to renew it. Although if you do want to get in there and try some change, go for it. But really, in my opinion, you're not listened to. In fact, I'm not even sure. I asked, but I didn't get a clear answer as to why they didn't have a public session, and it was only a closed session with the Wellness Council. But yes, they came to town, but did not want to meet with the public. So that's my rant on that. I did want to mention, condolences to those who have passed, but I also wanted to send out congratulations to Andrew, who turned 101 in the past week. So that's kind of on my seniors thing, and then on the seniors trend, we are selling memberships again this Thursday, 10 to 4 at the Kaiser store. And I think that's all I had to say. So thank you very much. Moving on to exclusion of councillors. Mayor Ferguson.
I move that we approve,
Excuse.
Oh, excuse Councillor Heaton from the meeting of July 7th, 2026.
Seconder, Councillor Cox. All in favor? Carried. Dates of next council meeting. Our next regular meeting of councillor is July 21. That's going to be community and municipal. And I'm looking for a person who's going to be in town to chair.
I'm sure no.
You are chairing that one? Okay, it was a blank on here. So Councillor Benwell. And then the meeting after that is already to August, oh my goodness, August 11th, for Protective and Corporate again, looking for a chair for that one. Councillor Tucky, thank you very much. So that is that. Question period, I don't see a gallery. So there, we've already dealt with the in-camera. And so it's a motion that I can't make this time.
Aw.
Oh, Ferguson.
I move that we adjourn at 8:13 p.m.
Seconder, Councillor Cox, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
I think you should have passed the chair out and made your.
No,
Yeah.
you should have.